Hello, and welcome to another whatever version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your who gives a crap and whatever the hell host, Voice of Doom. Not in the mood to be emotive. It was not a good day today, and I'll tell you why. And this is not hyperbole, this is not a way to get attention, but it wasn't a good day. Now, I've talked to people today about existential topics such as hope and doom and giving up and not giving a crap anymore and having hope for the future. And I don't know, maybe I brought doom on myself by my own attitude. I didn't want to talk about Voice of Doom and the fact that the world's going to hell just to be, a negative Nelly. I wanted to warn people about what I think is happening and what will happen. And maybe I should have been more positive, more Pollyannish, more it'll all be good, everything will be rosy. But it all came home to roost for me today. As you know, I have a son. I have two sons. One is the elder, and he's autistic, high functioning. And he is into self-gratification at any cost, without any thinking about anything else. I want what I want now. He became a hopeless alcoholic about 4.5 years ago when his mother started getting sick. And through a series of mishaps and happenstances, he ruined his life with alcohol. And he was half living at home and half living on the street. So he went to Tahoe 5 days ago with my tent. He said, I'm going to go up to Tahoe for a day or two and just camp out up there and be a vagabond with some girl he knows, who I don't know if she has mental illness or not. And he's been gone for 5 days, and I didn't think anything of it. He's 28 years old. He's lived on the streets for many months at a time, and he somehow knows how to get by. Well, today I was doing my usual browsing through YouTube, and I heard a knock on the door that sounded like the kind of knock where you better go see what it is. And I opened the door, and it was a police officer. And so I said, excuse me, and I got to get dressed because I had no clothes on. And I knew it was bad, and I went back, and I don't know what he said, but I said, this is about Max, I suppose. And he goes, yes, we were up in Tahoe, and we went through the woods, and we found him, and he is deceased. And I'm still trying to process that, because it's been less than 12 hours that I heard that news. And while I was not surprised, it was not the same as the last death watch that I had to experience 4 years ago. because that was a slow death that everybody was expecting, and when it happened, we were ready for it. But Max died. My son, my firstborn son, died today. And I have mixed feelings about it. I don't really know if I can go into the details of what his life has been like. But in a way, it's relief for him, because he could never really fit in. He was autistic, but not in such a way that you can get benefits. He was functioning, and he just couldn't fit in. He didn't understand how people act and who they are and nuances. And he probably inherited some of the genes from me and anybody else about substance abuse. And when his mother was dying, he took to alcohol, and he never got out of that. And what I think happened, in my theory, is that he went to Tahoe with his girlfriend, supposedly, and got some money, probably begged for some bucks from some people and got a bottle, and got super drunk, and then was walking outside and just collapsed and froze to death. Because even though it's summertime, Tahoe got down to 32 degrees last night. And the girl disappeared, and it's still under investigation. I'm trying to process it because half my family's gone. It wasn't more than 5 years ago I had a wife and 2 kids who were doing reasonably well. And now I have a kid in the Army who is the last vestige of my lineage. And I don't really think that's important, as you well know. That's not important to me, because my lineage goes on for trillions of eons. So I'm very happy that Max can start a new life, because he's expiated a lot of his bad karma that he must have had in order to be born in the life he was born into. Absolute horror. Forget about paraplegic. Forget about being Down syndrome. This high-functioning autism is really bad. And I feel sorry for people who have to put up with that, because they either have a genius who has quirks, or they have somebody who just can't function in society. And if they can't function in society, they go by the wayside. But my postulate, my hypothesis of how the world has gone to the dogs and we're all doomed, well, I bring it on myself, I guess. Because I'm trying to help and show, and people are seeing it now more and more, and it's going to happen because I'm a microcosm of the universe. My life is a microcosm of the macrocosm. I've told you this already. So I'm really sorry about what I've caused, because things are going to go really bad. And everybody knows it. They can see it now. They can see the lying. On the political landscape, there's just nothing but people trying to squirm out of any kind of accountability for anything they've done. At least I think about being accountable. What could I have done better? I could have done a lot of things better. But to commiserate on that is to waste the rest of my life. I mean, yeah, okay, I went on a binge. I just decided whatever's around, I'll drink it, and I'll go to the casino and spend every last dime in my bank account, because I don't give a crap anymore. Because I can either make more money or just my usual modus operandi. But I had a good excuse this time, because my firstborn is gone. And you think when he was born, and what you went through when your wife is in labor, and it wasn't an easy one, and he wasn't an easy baby. He was a crier, and he had all kinds of weird idiosyncrasies where we couldn't calm him down. He didn't smile when he was supposed to smile. He didn't crawl when he was supposed to crawl. He didn't creep when he was supposed to creep. He was behind all the time. He didn't know pronouns. God help him if he had to learn the pronouns back when he was 2 years old. With what they have going on now, he didn't know you or he or we or I. He couldn't figure it out. We had to drill it into him. Things that people take for granted, language. And he destroyed things. And he would scream bloody murder if you heard a dog bark, or if you heard a rooster crow, or if you heard someone slamming a garbage can, or if you heard something on television, that some crackling noise that just bugged his ears, he would scream bloody murder. And then he went through life, and he got a little better when he was in high school, because he got into ROTC, and he liked the regiment. He liked the discipline. And he kept his uniform pristine, and he was marching, and he had his short hair. And then when he wanted to go into the service, they said no, because of his blood pressure, which I think was a facade. I think it was all about him being autistic, and they knew that he was going to be a problem. So he never got into the service. So what he did was he bussed tables, and he dishwashed, and he worked the front line in casinos, and he bar-backed and started to function in society, but the drinking came along and he blew it. He got fired from every job he had because he was drinking. But things were going well up to a point, and then he went bad, and now I have to deal with, not having 2 kids anymore. And I have one who's in El Paso, which is bad enough, but he may be deployed to any God knows where place, unless there's big changes. So it's one of those diatribes. I just wanted to get it off my chest, and I know people are sorry, and I appreciate that, but I'm not going to dwell on it because it's just too much. It's kind of a shock, because I knew he was heading toward ruin, but I was always hoping that he would come out of it and make something good out of it. And in a way, it doesn't negate, it just makes me more not doubtful, just cynical about belief. But I had to believe what I believe in. I believe in the cause and effect. I believe we live forever, and that one lifetime is just a grain of sand in the Pacific Ocean, and that each lifetime is a development towards the next one. And he had to expiate a lot of karma in his lifetime. He had to overcome a lot, and he never did. But I think he did enough atonement so that he can be reborn in better circumstances. And I may see him again, because you got to get off this space-time continuum and start thinking a little bit more out of the box. I could die 50 years from now, and I could still be reborn as his father. You don't know anything. I could be reborn as his dog. But it was a shock, because it's like, I can't, we found him on the trail and he was deceased. And it's like, you expect it, you're not surprised, but you just can't get over it. Because he was alive 5 days ago when I saw him last, and I was probably pissed at him. And telling him he should get his act together and get a job, and that was probably the last thing I ever said to him. I'm not going to commiserate over that. I just thought I'd let you know that my life is 50% gone. I told you, 6 billion people. Yeah, maybe it wasn't a cabal, but it happens anyway, okay? So everybody better start to think about that as they see events unfold over the next few months. Because it's happening, it's accelerating. People are getting pissed. You look on the media and see they're getting desperate and they're getting pissed. So I'm not going to deviate. I'm still going to warn you. Don't say I didn't say anything later. So, thanks for listening. I'm sorry that you had to listen to my sobbing. But I just had to get this out while it's raw. And I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.